You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean. Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Revolution After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Revolution After Show.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV's recap show of NBC's Revolution, Season 2, Episode 15, Dream Catchers. I'm your host, Megan Thomas. And you know this song.
Those dreams are sweet, sweet.
Yes.
Love it.
And who are you guys?
I'm Francesca.
Hey, Francesca. How's it going? I'm Ryan. Good to see you.
I'm glad you guys are here, and I hope you guys have wakened yourselves up from the crazy dream that is NBC's Revolution, because sweet dreams are made of these, as the song goes.
Sweet dreams are made of Megan Thomas.
Right. Sweet dreams are made of cold beer, apparently.
And porn.
And porn.
Absolutely.
Gosh, as Aaron says. So let's get right into it. This episode, this was one of my favorite episodes.
I was super excited. I was waiting all week for this.
This was like Matrix meets Inception, right?
Yes.
It was so crazy.
Bow.
What is that noise?
Bow. Have you ever watched Inception?
Yeah, that is.
And like things are happening and people are getting shot and then stuff blowing up.
Right. Right. This is exactly what was happening in this episode. So we wake up to, I guess, Aaron's dream, which at this point he doesn't really know if it's a dream, and he's with Priscilla. We see the date is March 5th, 2014, as it is right now. Today. And there's news on the TV, and I thought this was very interesting. They were talking about Afghanistan and how there was some device used.
Pops.
The pops. 100% of the power went out just in that area, in that building, which is actually what this whole nanite stuff was supposed to be used for in the beginning. It was just supposed to turn out the power right in Afghanistan, but as we know, that's not what happened. So Aaron's, walking around in life. He sees Horn on TV, looking as creepy as he
recognizes him.
Right.
He seems a bit off, feeling a bit weird.
He has deja vu. It's like deja vu.
Right.
It looks so familiar, but...
Right.
I feel like I'm forgetting something. Is
Yes.
what he said.
And I think it was funny when he and Priscilla started walking to his office, and he went to go get the sandwich out of the trash because he's like, what if there's food? What if food's not
scarce,
everywhere, right? So I thought that was really funny because he really had a moment where he was going to go.
So that, at that point to me, that set up that this was not what it seemed. Like it wasn't. It was a dream. That it wasn't in the world that he was back where everything was right. So, because he wouldn't be having these thoughts if it wasn't something inside his brain.
I don't know. Sometimes you have just crazy dreams and they feel so real, and you wake up and you're trying to figure out if that was all a dream.
Right.
So I think he just had a moment.
And I think that's what it was, but I feel like it should have been confirmed when he went to Pittman Digital, which looks so cool, by the way. I would like to work there. And, the two intern-looking guys, or the two young guys are like, we need you to finish the code. And then he's having flashbacks. I really would have been like, okay, something is definitely not right. I've seen this before. I'm not answering that. No.
And he kind of did. He's like, I don't want to do this right now. I'm just not feeling good. And he steps away from it all and says, you know what? We'll just check out. Whoa, take it easy.
Right.
So,
and of course, Priscilla consoles him and says, don't worry about it. Take a break. It sounds a little cray-cray. And of course, he sees Rachel on TV. I think at that point, I would have really just been like, okay, I'm done. Something's not right. I know these people. This is not working.
Well, remember when Priscilla kissed him, she said, if this were a dream, would it feel real?
Right.
But he said no, but I was like, yes, it would. So I guess that was kind of like a little cue.
Neuroreceptors in the brain, so.
Right. Yeah. And I think the best part of his, I guess you could say, flashback into the crazy world, I don't know if that's a correct word, but it's the fact that Neville has his own insurance agency.
His commercial.
Been in an accident?
Right.
Someone dies every 2 seconds. Ding.
2 more.
2 more.
Right. That to me was the best part, especially because pre-blackout, Neville was an insurance guy, but he was low on the totem pole. So now to see him on buses and benches.
And commercials.
And commercials.
Rising up.
Everyone just looks so snazzy in current time.
Right. I don't know about you.
Snazzy.
Would you guys have, if you knew you were in the dream, would you have waken yourselves up? Or would you stay there? Would you stay in the Matrix or would you take the pill and wake up?
I don't know. I mean, we as viewers were just so confused. What was the dream? What was real?
I'm saying, so if you knew.
And he knew.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So would you have made the same choice as Aaron, or would you go, you know what, I'm going to stay here?
I don't know. This is
I would have
weird.
woke up.
You would have woke up?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I would have stayed. I would have stayed.
You know, you coulda, woulda, shoulda, but I would have woke up. But I guess, granted, if we were in this world, Megan, you would have been dead like 18 episodes ago. So.
Right, and I would have even
Keep that
made
in
it
mind.
here. No, but here's the thing, though. I don't think they would have given him that much time anyway to figure it out because, of course, they need him to fix the code ASAP. So it would have been like, you don't have forever in this dream world. Like, even if you give me the code, I'm going to snap you out of it and wake you up.
They said they'd leave him there when he was trying to jump off the building, you know, and
I mean, but them things lie, okay? The
Clearly.
nanites are not your friend.
they can't be trusted.
They can't. I don't think they would let him sleep because then he would kind of be like in a comatose state.
Well, they let him sleep after the first night because he woke up feeling all refreshed and ready to go to his meeting and like, do the
Walking around.
presentation.
No. I mean, in the real, because you think, I mean, of course, in his dream state, that was like, a full 8 hours or whatever. But I'm saying in like real life, like blackout life, I don't think that was a full night's sleep. That probably was like 2 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Because it's in your head. You know, things are a little different when you're in dream state, right?
Yes.
Because they don't have time like that, honey. They
Ain't
dying.
nobody got time for that.
Right. Because the rent is too damn high.
The rent is too damn high.
All right, let us know what you think. Make sure you go to iTunes. What can they do, Francesca?
You can rate us. You can comment. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Just make sure you give us 5 stars.
Yes, and it's really easy to find us on iTunes. You just search AfterBuzz TV Revolution, and then you'll see our podcast. Subscribe, and let us know what you think about the show, and give us your thoughts, especially about this episode in particular. Would you have taken that pill and
The Matrix.
I know, woke up out the Matrix, or would you have said, you know what, I'm going to do exactly what Aaron did? Let us know. And what's
You can
up with
also
YouTube?
hit us up on YouTube.
Yes.
All our videos are posted up on YouTube. All the links we send out on Twitter are via YouTube. We got a lot of people this past week who have been in a great debate, and we had a huge heated debate
We did.
while we were watching this episode. Because last week, and you know, there's been some unclear whether or not this started in 2012 when the season started, and then
show started, yeah.
So when the show started, and basically the blackout then happened, and then 15 years later is when we currently are, so 2027. But then Aaron's waking up 2 years after the blackout, or if the show was current time with the blackout, so the blackout happened in 1999. So according to the Wikia page, it said the blackout happened on September 17th, 2012. But then my question becomes, I know that everything in his brain is a figment of his imagination, but why, if it's the current time, is that why then Charlie is the same age, even though at that time she would have
Just
been.
got super
Right.
It got
confusing
really
again.
weird and confusing.
Right.
Well, yeah, I thought, that was weird too. So if the blackout initially happened in 2012 when the season started, then they're in 2014.
Why was there 2 years in
Yeah,
his...
why
and
didn't they go to
blackout
the
still
future?
hasn't like, what?
Yeah, so if
Right.
the blackout happened, and then if he's waking up in current time, why didn't it go into the future then when the show is supposedly taking place?
And we
Go ahead.
know it was in 1999 because we
Right.
saw Obama in
And that's my mistake, because at the time we had just watched the show and I didn't
Our
know.
minds were just,
our
like,
minds
crazy.
were trying to take in the show. But I mean, if you remember the tower did have a picture of President Obama, which means the blackout happened sometime after 2008 for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
But
But we
although
never-
1999 is a good year, good
Right.
music.
And people say 2012 because that's when the season started. But we never really get that from the writers. The writers don't explicitly say that. And
Yeah.
if they do, as viewers, make sure you put on, write in our comments and let us know what episode
Yeah.
it said exactly when the blackout
Right,
was,
'cause
because I don't remember it.
That was from I Like Mac on YouTube, and also
Hello, I like Mac. We like you too.
Also, Big Mike EM90 made the comment about what this wasn't 1999 that the blackout happened. So
Right.
it was a big debate on our YouTube channel with some of the comments and stuff. And like I said, yeah, you said it right. I don't think they've ever explicitly said in the episode,
Nope.
this is the current, because this is the first time they've ever used the date.
Right.
But it just seemed weird. I mean, I know they're trying to make it current and present day, but why didn't they make the current date future date if that's the date that everything is taking place?
Right. It just is really weird. So if you have other theories, make sure you comment and let
please.
us know what date you think the blackout happened, because we know what the Wikia page said, but clearly I can change the Wikia date because
Yes.
that's what it's for. But if you have an idea, just let us know because we're debating that still. I don't know. I don't think it's 1999. I was wrong for that because I forgot about Obama being president. But I also don't think that it happened in 2012 because that was weird.
Yes.
I feel like this is way future than that. I don't know.
You're that NBC. Give us a date.
Yes, writers, give us a date. Let us know when the blackout happened for sure. Not that it matters, though. It really doesn't matter because we see in this episode that the next day when Aaron goes back to work, he's getting ready to solve the code because he's feeling good and feeling great. And of course,
what do you know?
Little redheaded intern guy gets...
They had to be smarter than that when he hired him.
Right. Gets killed because Charlie shows up.
Shoots him in the neck. Like, that was awesome.
And then and I think that's so great that he still has enough fight in his mind to create Charlie to bring him out of the craziness that he's dealing with. Because I would think that the nanites were so powerful, even in his head, and he's not even aware of what's going on, that he would have just listened to the nanites.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
subconscious is really strong, though.
Right, that's true. So that's
so is Charlie.
So we see Charlie, and of course she gets killed by
Dr. Horn.
Dr. Horn.
That was just crazy to see Charlie die because all those fighting scenes, all these last seasons,
never been injured, never been anything.
Nothing. Right? No, she's been injured, but like nothing serious.
Nothing serious.
Just a bruised rib here or there, probably. But yes, the fact that she got killed and it was so like
shot through the forehead,
right?
Like from the back of the head,
so blatantly,
lifelessly staring at us on the ground.
That's creepy. And then of course, Aaron escapes in a taxi cab with Neville on it.
I like too when he is running, he bumps into Nora.
Yes, a little cameo
Nora there.
I know. I wish they would have done something more with Nora.
I know. She was a great character.
She was. And so he is instructed by Charlie to find Rachel, find Miles, find everybody. And so he goes to Chicago. At this point, he's in... Do we know that he's in St. Paul?
Well, because they're talking about the Timberwolves.
They said the Timberwolves
tickets.
2 different times.
Okay, but do we know that he's in that city? Or are we assuming because it's the...
Well, if he was going to have the tickets for the box seats that night...
you would assume.
He would assume he'd be in the same city.
So St. Paul, Minneapolis.
But so he took a very expensive taxi ride
right,
to
that's what
Chicago.
I was thinking.
It's only 10 hours.
But he's rich, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, who
He'll
cares?
give Miles $1,000 for 10 minutes of his time.
Right. He doesn't care. So, of course, he goes to Chicago where he meets up with Rachel. By the way, how does he know where Rachel is?
He just knows.
Well, I mean, she was on TV, so I'm sure.
What does that have to do with anything?
He could probably Google it.
Yeah, Google.
Where she lives.
Yeah,
he knows where she's going to be.
He found her in the parking garage of the office building.
2014.
Right.
That was her work.
Oh, he knew where she worked?
Probably. I mean, she's a renowned scientist.
Okay,
Dr. Matheson.
Dr. Matheson. So, yes, he finds her and he convinces her with the gun that shows up magically in his hand to take him to
After being
Miles.
tased.
Right.
Yeah, I thought when you're tased, you're just like down and out for like a good, cool, I don't know, a long
time.
So
you can set the level of tase, like how many volts it is.
Why do you know this?
Because I just know things
somebody
about tasers.
tased you before?
Maybe I'm not really at liberty to talk about that kind of stuff. Search it on the internet, you might find it.
Right.
Google.
Yeah, it's all about Google. Yeah, but you can adjust the voltage. So it could have been a low voltage, but usually if you have a taser that you're using to stun people that are going to criminalize you, I totally
you're
think
gonna
that
make it like really strong.
You'd knock them out.
Good thing it wasn't pepper spray. That would just been all bad.
Right. But I mean, it's his dream. So of course he probably was like, I'm strong enough to resist this or whatever.
Yeah, it was a dream.
Yeah. So
you can't get hurt. That's the thing. Because that's why Dr. Horn and the soldiers haven't shot at him at once.
Right.
They just showed up.
But I thought they should have shot at the tires. If they wanted to capture him, I know he's in a speeding car and they don't want to hurt him, but shoot the tires out.
I know, but then what if they shoot the tires and then the tree...
The car flips.
Like a tree hits the car.
Magically appears out of
Right.
nowhere.
What if something happens and he does die in the
fine.
dream? Then he's awake and he doesn't help them.
Then he's dead.
So yes, they take a trip to go find Miles. And at this point, Rachel believes what Aaron is telling her in the car because he's telling her secrets that only she would know.
Right.
All the things she told him over the last season and a half.
Right. And so, of course, she helps them and they find Miles. And Miles is just a stinky drunk.
He's the same old Miles.
Right, it's the same Miles. Because remember in the first season, they found he was like running a bar. So he's still a drunk. He's just a different kind of drunk in a seedy motel.
And when he sees the commercial of Neville, he's just like,
I hate that guy.
Right, he still doesn't like him. Not even in a dream. They're not even friends.
Sarcastic Miles. I love it.
Right, love it. And so also we know that they had an affair and of course Aaron knows about it. Do you guys remember when Aaron found out about the affair? Because I don't think they've ever talked about the affair to anybody outside of Miles and Rachel.
Well, I can't remember either, but it was, I mean, you can just see in their characters that there's that.
I know, but he says to her, I know you had an
Tension.
affair with Miles. Like,
Right.
that's what I'm saying is, how did he know? Because they've never shown us, from my knowledge in the show, that they said that to Aaron. Right?
I don't remember.
I mean, he's
Because
probably
of-
just figured it out.
I mean, he could have, but he said it so, like, sure.
Well, he's trying to
He
sound
knew.
confident in the details of things he knows about her to make her believe, you know, everything that Aaron's telling him.
Okay, well, I'm just saying.
I like Aaron's new name though,
Beardy
Beardy
McGee.
Right. And then the fact that, of course, Bass says the same exact
And
name
it-
that
Miles
Miles
gives him
says.
the look.
BFFs for life.
Right.
Beardy McGee.
Beardy McGee.
What's up, Beardy McGee?
Right.
That's Ryan. Ryan's
Beardy
Beardy,
McGee.
I
McGee.
know you are Beardy McGee.
I'll do my best to be a Beardy McGee.
Okay, so then we see Bass comes in with the pizza. He's still the same old Bass. And of course, he says that Miles came to stalk her. That's why he's staying in this motel. And he said, don't help him by stalking him back. So what do you think happened? Do you think that this actually happened or something like it when they broke up from their affair during pre-blackout time?
Like a fallout that they had?
No, because you remember, because what he says is he came here to find you, came here to kind of stalk you, and don't help him because I'm basically trying to help Miles get over you. So do you think that something like that happened in real life pre-blackout when they ended their affair?
Probably. I'm sure Miles tried to stay around anywhere near her so they could see, like, if something would happen again. But maybe Monroe was just using stalk as, like, sarcastically.
Well, I don't think anything like that really happened.
I don't think so either.
Right, because I feel like in the first season, or, earlier, they were talking about how when they showed a flashback of Miles and Rachel kissing, like, this is it, and Rachel was like,
They parted ways,
Right,
basically.
right. I feel like that was it. Like, there was no more contact, no more I love you, I miss you kind of contact afterwards. So I don't know. That's something I
it's
thought
part
about.
of the figment of the imagination that he's created in this world,
Right.
in this dream state. And that could also be then too, going back to your question earlier about the affair comment. The way he said it, I mean, he could have been basically convincing Rachel that it was true with the knowledge that he has and the power that he has in this dream world.
Right.
Because in the next scene you see then when these soldiers show up, that he's like, I need you guys to be your old selves. I need you with the sword and the thing and the doing
Right.
doing your
Be
be you
you.
guys, basically.
I can't really snap really well.
And he's trying to get them to be you, and then after the soldiers storm in, he like wills them to have these knives, and then they start killing people and bashing people's heads in.
They're like,
and,
oh
Right.
yeah, I remember.
oh yeah, they all remember.
I remember. Oh, that's so nice. So then, of course, they escape because every hotel room has a back door.
Oh,
Seedy
for
one.
sure.
Right.
Listen,
Yes,
seedy
every
ones
seedy
do.
one where you stalk people
Has a back door. I didn't know that. I learned something new this episode.
Me too.
Okay, so of course the crew they convince Aaron that he needs to do something to wake up from the
jump.
dream, and so he says he wakes up from dreams by falling. So of course they go back. They take the 10-hour trek back to St. Paul, apparently to go back to Pittman Digital and jump off the building. Do you think that was the right move?
Why is it that? Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say it wouldn't have mattered if he jumped anyways, because even though he's having the dream, the nanos could still have stopped him on some level.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So
And I said that too in the scene when Charlie was there. I was like, he just needs to kill himself. That's going to wake him up. Something
Yeah, you did
happens
say
to him
that.
in this dream world where he is dead or hurt. It's going to cause him to wake up. So him jumping, when he was going to jump, I was like, oh, he can't jump because they're just going to catch him.
Right.
right.
Which they did. I mean, he jumped and then he wakes up in this chair where
then-
he's tied up.
But then Megan called it. She's like, "Where's Priscilla?" Sure enough, Priscilla pops out of nowhere because that's the one person he
Right.
has a weak spot for.
Right. And it was so convincing, that one tear that Priscilla had.
Yeah.
It was so convincing
Don't
for him to
leave.
say. That's what I was thinking, like, don't leave. You know what, Aaron? Just stay there. Just stay there.
That's
you know
why
what?
you wouldn't
get
take
cold.
the pill. You just stay in the world because
I just
Priscilla's
stay in
crying
the
at you.
Matrix, right? I'd be
He's
like,
a
forget it.
red-blooded American man, porn
likes
and
beer
beer.
and porn.
Is that how it really is, Ryan?
I mean,
Are you a red-blooded
you can look that up on the
American
internet as well. Google that. See
Why
what
trying to
comes
put
up.
this man's business out in the street?
Beardy
Right.
McGee.
Beardy McGee,
Google,
porn
Google
and
Beardy McGee
beer.
and porn and see what comes up.
But
Right.
ads.
Right. So of course, we see as he jumps, he decides that this isn't real. There's no point in staying here. he jumps, but he wakes up and he is now been accosted in a chair by Dr. Creepy Horn. And he has
That's
Creepy
Mr.
Horn.
Dr. Creepy Horn to you.
I like
scary.
it.
He's
Creepy
just,
Horn.
He looks creepy.
Everyone's just creepy in this episode.
Right. But I don't know, not really. I think they're happy. They're happy. They're full of color and life.
Peter's creepy in real time.
No, Peter's cool. Peter works at
He's
Pittman
creepy,
Digital.
though.
He's
Is he still
creepy.
creepy at Pittman Digital? I thought he was cool.
Wait, was he in?
Yeah, because he walked past and the very first day
Oh.
he walked in.
No, I'm talking about, I guess, like I said, real time in their blackout
When they wake
time.
up.
Yeah.
Blackout time. Okay. Well, so yes, so now Aaron gets the strength to see that, you know what, you can't harm me. I control you, nanites. I tell you what to do. I didn't think that was going to work. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think it was going to work.
And Dr. Creepyhorn says, your mind belongs to us.
Twirls his mustache and everything.
And then his little scalpel is gone.
His hand is free. His scalpel is gone. He escapes.
He escapes.
Except he kind of
And
was
then-
foreshadowing that.
Right. And then, of course, he's
And
like...
he yells at
"Will
him. He calls him a crappy piece of Skynet junk or
Right!
throwing
Skynet!
out the Terminator reference in there.
Terminator.
Yes, Skynet. That's so funny. And so he wills himself to wake up. At this point, be honest, did you guys think that he was awake for real?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I did. Yeah, I thought he was awake. Sorry, I wanted to sound really cool and smart and be like,
like,
no,
no.
I knew. I didn't. I was
But-
like, yes, he willed himself awake. He's back. He's
Yeah,
back.
no, they such a good job of dreams and dreams and dreams.
Right.
I won't make the noise again.
Right.
Do it.
No.
Okay, Inception.
He needs a little spinny object.
Right. He needs a
A
little
totem.
There you go.
Okay.
A weighted totem.
So yes, then we see that they are leaving good old Lubbock, Texas, and the lights are flickering. I was really excited.
Well, in my head, I was thinking, if the lights come back on, where does the show go?
That's a good question.
But it was also sad to see the little nanites. They look like dead beetles.
Sad little
It was little
fireflies.
fireflies like
Meh.
this on the ground, dead. But I really was for a moment happy and like relieved, like, oh, the life that he once had. Aaron will be able to have that cold beer again. He'll be able to watch
Eventually.
his MSNBC in his fancy condo in St. Paul,
Living the dream, looking over the river.
Minneapolis. Yes. So we see that he goes back to Willoughby, and apparently Willoughby is very close to Lubbock, within a week's
It's
walking
a fictional
distance.
town, so why not?
I know, right? So
They just have really good shoes, walking shoes.
right, who makes these
Who-
shoes?
exactly.
Who's was it called cobbler?
Cobbler.
Who's a freaking cobbler in this day and age?
Cobbler.
The cobblers are back. Okay, so they take their good walking shoes back to Willoughby, and they find Miles and Rachel, who are like, "Hey, come look! The lights are flickering. The Patriots are taking
Hoarding
all
up all the TVs.
yeah, all the
and-
electronic stuff, and then crazy
components.
lightning, crazy lightning."
Very end of days, if you will.
Yes. And so when they take shelter in the electronics store, I'm wondering, why is Rachel so close to the freaking window? Isn't that the first thing they teach you when you're in like elementary school? When it's lightning, you get away from the
glass.
windows?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't stand next to the window. And she's all like looking
Really?
out.
I
I'm
thought
sorry.
that was.
You move into the middle of the room, away from all the glass.
That's what
Same
I'm
with
thinking. That was
tornadoes,
to me.
any
That's the
emergency-
first thing, and I was like, "Why is she so close? She needs to walk away." Like,
With the lightning, I used to, when lightning and thunder and all that, when I was little, we'd just sit by the window and watch it.
Not when you're in a big, not when you're in a big field in Texas and the only thing around is your building.
But if you're in
Right.
a building,
okay, but you still don't get right next to the window, and it was like top to bottom glass. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
it wasn't like watching a lightning storm either, because lightning was
Right.
hitting the ground and things were blowing up.
and it was hitting like it was targeting
Trucks
people.
and people
were
and-
blowing up.
don't make the nanotechs mad.
Right. So then, of course, when the lightning strikes her and she's dead, and you see Miles go, help her. That's when I thought, okay, I think this is a trick. Actually, I'm pretty sure this is a trick. Because that's the way, there was too much urgency in his voice. Never once has Miles ever asked Aaron to help.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, Miles would have been the one to try to save Rachel. He wouldn't have reached out to Aaron like, Aaron, help her,
Yeah,
help
'cause
her,
Aaron
help
doesn't
her.
save anybody. Aaron runs away.
That's what I'm saying. And I mean, he has stepped it up this season, but still, he's not the one you go to save people.
No.
No, definitely not.
So I don't know. I just feel like that's when I was like, this is not real. I don't think this is
And,
real.
his
Something's not
his
right.
first thought was to start typing in the computer.
Right. Like, where does this computer come from? And you're like, I'm going to put the code in. Why are you gonna put the code in now? Don't
Right.
put it in
Because he
now.
wanted to save the nano, which they could then save her, because they had the power to heal her.
They're tricky. They're not to be trusted.
No.
We are aware
would-
now.
No, we knew that before. They're mean.
I think I was the only one that. Well, were you thinking the same thing? That okay, this is fishy now. 'Cause
Yeah,
I was like,
after that, when he got the computer, that seemed really fishy all of a sudden.
now that you guys are saying it, it makes sense. But when I was watching it, I was like, oh my god, no! I was just so into it. Like I didn't think that it was a trick. I was like, Aaron, don't do it. No.
Oh, Francesca, they got you, huh? Good job,
NBC coming in
Kripke,
hard.
good job. And the writing crew. So, yeah, so then, of course, he puts the code in. And I just thought that was too quick to be like, I'm going to put the code in. Like, it just seemed a little too... First of all, the code's really long. Let's just say that, okay? The code's absolutely long.
That's why I had that whole bubble of white
I know, but I'm
space.
saying, like, how all of a sudden do you open up the laptop and you don't have to input all of that code that was on the entire wall? That's how he should have known, like, okay, this might be a trick.
Right.
Because all I need to do is a little piece of the code that is missing.
On the computer they had before, the whole code was there, wasn't it? When he was trying to fix it
Yeah.
previously,
Okay,
when
but
Peter was there.
why was it there?
And they just had to air the one section out.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. But why was it there? Who put it there?
The nanites put
The
it there.
nanites put it there. So why would you put a code in if you see most of the code pop up? Who put it there that time?
It was in there before.
But it was off, and then it turned on because the nanites turned on the computer and put the code in.
I know. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, I agree with you.
That's why I was just like, why would you do? How else did the code get in there, Aaron? It's the freaking nanites.
Yeah, but that
It all makes sense after the fact to think about it.
That's what I was saying,
Aaron
like,
was like me in
no.
that moment, just like no,
My friend is
no, my
dead.
friend.
But that doesn't also mean it was a dream at that point, because the nanites had put the code into the computer before the dream sequence happened. So when it was real time and they found the error in the code when they were with Peter and Priscilla in the place in Texas, and he had to fix the code, and he's the only one that knew how, and he was going to input the virus. So why is it any different that the code was already in the
True,
computer?
but my whole point is who, regardless if it was a dream or if you're awake, who put the code into the computer to begin with?
The nanites. And he said he's going to fix them to save Rachel.
So that's what I'm saying. All of a sudden, you have a laptop and all of the code shows up. Well, why did you think they put the code there? Because they want you to fix them.
I mean, regardless, the whole purpose of him doing it was to save Rachel. So either way, Rachel's safe.
She's safe.
She's
But
safe.
unfortunately, the rest of us in the entire world are not.
So I have a question getting into some stuff that we have seen previously in the show.
Right.
And this isn't really a prediction, it's just getting to that point. So in season 1, Nora was killed.
Yes.
In season 2, Nora shows up as a cameo appearance, kind of as a joke, I'm sure, just to, for fans and stuff. So do you think that because of that, it's maybe hinting at someone getting killed next week? Because in the previews, they talked about that, the standoff is happening and is getting crazy and all that stuff.
Right.
And so do you think that one of our main characters could potentially die next week?
Oh, don't answer that. We are going to say that
I'm
for
just
predictions.
curious.
Don't say it. Don't answer
I
it.
wasn't going to answer it. I
gonna-
was just curious. What made you? How do you get that from
Because
that?
because they put Nora in. So like they didn't just throw her in as like something fun to do. It's almost like a foreshadowing. And this is also the same time around in season 1 that Nora died. So, right around the same mark in the
No,
season.
she died like almost
12?
at the very, very end.
Yeah.
Like one episode before
Well,
the end.
this is episode 15, so we're getting to the
Wait,
end.
how many more episodes do we have?
we have like 5.
We
Yeah.
have a few. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, think about it.
I don't know.
Let
I do think somebody's going to die.
that boil in your brain for a
No.
hot minute.
Okay, so then we'll do that in predictions who we think is going to die. Because somebody's going to die. They have to. Okay, so then, of course, we see once he types in the code and it's fixed that creepy horn shows up again.
Well, yeah, he
And
was
he's like,
pissed because
"Thank you."
Aaron called him a
I know, like, out of all the things
like,
that
"I'ma
Aaron
show
did to him, he was mad about being called a piece of Skynet crap.
Creepy Skynet crap.
He was pissed off.
Right, which is hilarious. So then he wakes up for real this time.
Womp womp.
Right back where they started.
Right back where they started. And creepy Peter is like, thank you so much
He's creepy.
for healing the nano. Okay, that's creepy. And they leave Lubbock with their good shoes on, headed back home.
Take their walk.
Take their walk of shame. And there's no flickering light
No,
He
right
just
at
stops and looks at
right
it.
at the city sign. Yeah,
just wants to go.
Whereas-
home.
I was sad, y'all. I really was
I
sad
felt empty.
because I really want the lights to turn back on.
I felt empty. I'm just so empty inside.
But I mean, what if you? So you say you want the lights to turn back on? Why? Like, what what would be the benefit of the lights coming back on at this point?
Because, are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
It would just cause so much chaos.
Okay, but I'm saying, is a world without power better than a world with power? No.
I'm sorry. Do you know when electricity was invented?
Yeah, like 19...
Irregardless if you don't know the date. So
Is that a
in the
word?
yes, regardless if you don't know the date. Irregardless is not a word. I totally use it wrongly all the time. Regardless of the date.
There we go.
In the last 200 years or less, electricity has been around.
Yes.
However, what do you think they did for the centuries before that?
Candles.
I know, right? But what I'm saying is this. There's been so many advances, especially like health-wise. People live longer now. People, of course, there's negative stuff. There's global warming. We've done a lot of things to damage our earth, partly because of the power that we now have. But I feel like, you know what? I don't like that world. I don't like that world.
The medieval world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of killing.
I mean,
you
how
gotta
do you know
be
you don't
more.
like
You gotta be more brutal. Because think about it.
we
You
were there.
have to be more brutal. You have to be. Even back in the day before there was electricity, people were more brutal. There were wars over land. There was war. You could.
There's wars over land now. The whole
Okay,
show
but-
started off in Afghanistan, which is a
All
war
right,
over
but
land
True.
and oil.
But I'm just saying, it's just different. I would prefer the world with power than the world without, especially for health purposes. There's a lot of people who would die if they didn't have electricity.
So instead of having to kill a person one-on-one, you have to kill people with bombs and kill them in mass amounts.
Okay.
POPing them in Afghanistan.
No, because if you listen to the newscast, they didn't have any loss of life. That's what she said.
They reported.
Right.
If the lights were to go back on, though, well, earlier I was like, where would the show go? But actually, I think it could go a lot of places, too, if the lights were to go back on, just because it would cause so much chaos.
The rebuilding of society
Yeah,
that it
it
would
would-
cause, and
it'd
the
be
struggles
nuts.
for power that it would cause. And,
Yeah, more struggles of power. Yeah.
Do people try to rebuild, or do they try to pick up where they left off, like when the power went out? Is it assumed that somebody that was the president 15 years later is still the president because they haven't had a formal election?
Yeah,
Or,
just all kinds of crazy.
Right.
With or without power, the world is just crazy.
Are we now a monarchy? Do we, what's happening in the society?
Right.
So there are lots of places.
Right, and I think it would be harder because the simple fact of now it's a power struggle.
Yep.
Because there's going to be people who decide, I'm going to take this power that you absolutely need because the lights are back on. Who doesn't want electricity when you have it? They're going to use that, and they're going to use it negatively because we already see that the Patriots are doing some
I think there would be
crazy
more
stuff.
chaos because you would see people that were maybe in a lower form of life who have become strong in this situation who would take that life or take that position that they didn't earn previously. And, like with Neville, when he was in real life, he was an insurance salesman. He was on the lower end of the totem pole. Since now he's developed all these skills and, this ability to manipulate people.
So what does that mean?
So, I mean, you would see someone like Neville potentially taking power, at the end of a sword, even if there's power.
Would you want Neville as your president?
I mean,
Yes.
he's so awesome. He's
Without
really good at
hesitation.
insurance. No, but I'm saying though, but that's like saying somebody who's at the low end of the totem pole can't grow up to be President Barack Obama. Hello, you know what I'm saying? He grew up in like.
That's not what I'm saying.
But-
I'm saying if the lights came back on right now, and I'm agreeing with what you're saying, Francesca, because it would be chaos. Because people that
Right.
were
I
in
do
the
agree
low
with that.
end would just be taking whatever they wanted. Same with people in the high end.
No, I'm just saying. So you can't sit here and say that it's just a problem with people who are at the low end. I feel like
No,
everyone.
I'm not saying it's a problem
Yeah,
with the low
definitely
end. I'm
everyone.
saying people that were in the low end are not now at this point probably content with where they were, so things wouldn't fall back into line.
No, definitely. I mean, I think that would be sad to expect, like for Aaron, for him to be like, I'm a billionaire again. Like no, you're not, because there's a lot of things that have happened. Inflation is completely, who knows?
There's no inflation.
The
Money
worst,
doesn't exist.
like currency is now like, what are you going to do about currency? What are you going to do about the economy? Like there's a lot of questions that have to get answered before you can go back and say, I have a bunch of wealth.
Yeah, you're just
You know what I mean?
a million steps behind starting all over again. So
Right,
it's just
right.
nuts.
Which is crazy.
So that's why I say leave the power off.
I don't know. I'm just saying that Google-esque office that at Pittman Digital just made me want to go.
Pretty
You know
amazing.
what?
The whole building.
So
I mean,
cool.
what does it matter?
So cool.
So awesome.
Cushy
I wanna-
apartment.
Right.
I mean, the real thing is though, that seemed like a studio apartment to me. The bed was right in the middle of the living room.
Yeah, but he lived in like a downtown loft.
Yeah, it's like a
That's
condo.
the place to be.
It's like a nice condo.
I mean, it's kind of cold in St. Paul. I don't know if I'd want that one.
Whatever.
Oh, Minneapolis. Okay, so then, of course, the show ends and they're walking away, and Priscilla asks the question, what are the nanites going to do now? What do you guys think the nanites are going to do? Matter of fact, we'll start predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
There's a lot to talk about here.
Oh.
Because in the trailer they picked up where they left off last week with the showdown, the non-Mexican showdown, because it's just a showdown, and also the whole thing talking about the standoff for power.
Right. So let's go into okay. So there's a couple questions. What do you guys think the nanites are going to do now that they're healed and they're fixed?
I want to know if Aaron or Priscilla are going to learn to control them again, or they're going to be involved with something how they were previously, like when they killed Horn and all those men, or when he was burning people with them. Because he was doing that, but he didn't know how, and Peter has learned to control that. So is that potential that Aaron could learn to control that as well, even though they've kind of rejected him, but it's still a technology that he has the power to control, regardless of if the nanites reject him or not.
Right.
Wait, so why would the nanites want power but then let someone control them?
Because they're still machines.
Peter's controlling them for a different purpose. He's not manipulating them or trying to kill people with them.
Because they're still machines, so they still have a code they have to follow. They still have, execute something and then they follow. That's basic code, I'm assuming.
Right, they're machines.
Yeah, they're machines. So they still, if your creator tells you to do something, then you do it because A plus B equals C. When it comes to just coding, they have to follow order. They have to follow rules.
Well, they were trying to kill everybody because they wanted the code fixed, so they kind of were on.
But they're adapting technology, so.
True. So they're artificial intelligence now?
I don't know.
Potentially.
I really can't imagine what they're going to do next.
We might have to wait till next week to find out.
I know, right? I think there's going to be... I really now think, of course, Priscilla and Aaron are on one side of things and Peter's on the other. We have not seen the last of Peter. I really believe he's going to use the nanites and the Patriots are probably going to use him. So he's going to join the Patriot side and he's going to be harnessing. And in order for the nanites to not do evil things, Aaron and Priscilla are going to have to step up to the plate and kind of fight against the Patriots and Peter because they're the only people who can. And I do think in the process, Peter's going to die, but so is Priscilla.
Poor Priscilla.
I think they might kill each other or something like that.
What about Dr. Porter?
Dr. Porter's definitely going to die sometime. He's old. He's got to die.
Yeah, because you never answered my question about who you think's going to die.
Okay, so... Oh, hold on. We have another question. So what are... both Priscilla. So what is Priscilla and Aaron going to do now? Because she asked them that. She
They're going
says, what
home.
do we do now? Okay, but when they go home, what do they do?
I think they're heading back to meet up with
Miles and
Monroe and
everybody, yeah.
Rachel and Charlie.
Well, we see next episode is going to be crazy action-packed.
And he promised that, too. He said, in the dream, I'll come find you. When this is done, I'll come find you.
Hold on. Who said that?
Aaron said that to Rachel.
Oh, yeah, that is true. Yeah.
So that's probably his target is to go back to them.
So they're going back to Willoughby. Okay, so then you ask the question, who do you think is going to die next? I think, not trying to be funny, I think Connor's going to die.
I was going to say, if someone were to die, I still don't know how you guys got that, but it'd be Connor or Jason for sure.
We're just stretching.
Yeah.
Right. Who do you think's going to die?
I don't know. I want to wait till next week to find out.
Are you serious? You're going to have us say who we think's going to die. You're not going to say who you think's going to die.
I'm just facilitating questions that need answers. I'm not necessarily going to say I have the answers.
Okay, so you have any more predictions for next week, guys, based on the promo?
Action-packed.
I think Francesca should tell us where we could find her.
Oh, yeah. Twitter, Instagram, Vine, XOXOCESCA.
Yeah, and you can find me at RyanHooks92 on Instagram, on the Twitter, on the Facebook, on the Yahoo.
On the Yahoo.
On the Yahoo. Meg, tell us where they can find you.
As always, you can find me, Megan Thomas, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Meg Scoop, like scoop of ice cream. And we hope you enjoyed this AfterBuzz show. Make sure you comment and make sure you like and subscribe us on iTunes. Until next week, bye.
See y'all later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.